Good afternoon, everyone. New for you at 4. Officers are continuing their investigation after one person died in a head-on crash in Pennington County, Minnesota. It happened yesterday morning about 25 miles east of Bemidji. First responders say 44-year-old Neil Cutbank died after crashing his Chevy HHR head-on with a Ford Escape. The other driver, 59-year-old Jeffrey Imhoff of Bemidji, was taken to Sanford with non-life-threatening injuries. Also new at 4, an Erhard, Minnesota man has been arrested in connection with the theft of more than 150 catalytic converters. 34-year-old Darren Dillon is charged with 2 counts of felony theft and faces up to 10 years in prison. Otter Tail County deputies were contacted by a salvage yard after several catalytic converters were stolen. Catalytic converter thefts were also reported by a construction company and a used car lot. Court documents say investigators found Dillon had a connection with a scrap dealer in Wilkin County. Sale records show Dillon sold 155 catalytic converters and 69 car batteries, receiving more than $54,000. Documents say Dillon admitted to the theft. Authorities are still investigating what led to a 2-vehicle crash this morning after a woman jumped off the pedestrian bridge in Fargo and onto I-94. It happened around 8:30. Officials say a 21-year-old woman jumped off the bridge into oncoming traffic. North Dakota Highway Patrol says the drivers involved in the crash were trying to avoid hitting the woman on the interstate. No one was hurt in that crash, but authorities say the woman sustained non-life-threatening injuries. As we get more information, we'll provide updates on our website, valleynewslive.com, and on your VNL News app. A driver was dead after a head-on collision with a semi this morning. That happened just south of Minto on Highway 81. The driver of the SUV died. His or her name hasn't been released. The semi driver wasn't hurt. Well, it's a first alert weather day as some wintry weather is set to move in tonight. Nathan joins us with the first look. Nathan?
Yeah, thanks, Stacy. We're keeping our eyes at this hour on the Devil's Lake Basin. This is where we're likely to start seeing those impacts with some snowflakes flying and that wind shifting to the northwest first. And you can see those clouds at this hour. I've been looking here on the camera. Haven't seen too much in the way of snowflakes at this hour, but of course we're watching very carefully this clipper system that is really rocking and rolling its way in here. Take a look at this first alert weather day for tonight, and it goes through tomorrow morning as well because of just some light snowfall, but some strong wind expected along with this system. So winter weather advisory for most of us. This goes until 3 a.m. tomorrow for up and down the I-29 corridor into the Devil's Lake Basin. A wind chill advisory goes from 3 a.m. to noon. So basically the coldest part of our morning tomorrow. Could see wind chills in these areas near 30 below zero thanks to that cold air and that strong wind. So here's where we're seeing the Devil's Lake Basin. Just a few flakes of blue being shown at this hour, so maybe some light snowfall with this. And that's all we're expecting is some light snow, but then we're expecting the wind to really pick up. Notice it's out of the south at this point, around 20 to 25 miles per hour for most of us, but look at that, Minot gusting to 43 miles per hour out of the west. So we'll see that west wind and northwest wind kick in. We're already seeing some reduced visibilities from the south wind, some blowing snow going on right now. Thief River Falls up toward Langdon. And Stacy, I'm expecting more wind, that light snow causing even more low visibilities. So travel impacts tonight, tomorrow, but we'll break down the details in a few minutes.
All right. Thanks so much, Nathan. As Russia's invasion of Ukraine remains in the spotlight, the nation's top intelligence officials are giving an assessment of threats to U.S. security. Skylar Henry has this story from Capitol Hill.
The nation's intelligence leaders accused Russia of reckless disregard for civilians in Ukraine, even as sanctions squeeze President Vladimir Putin's economy.
We assess Putin feels aggrieved the West does not give him proper deference and perceives this is a war he cannot afford to lose.
At the annual hearing on worldwide threats to America's security, lawmakers asked how the conflict overseas could hit home.
How concerned are you as Russia gets more and more stymied on the military front that they may unleash some of their additional cyber tools?
We remain vigilant. We're 15 days into this conflict. By no means are we sitting back and taking this casually.
While the war in Ukraine was front and center, the intelligence hearing touched on a range of threats to national security, from terrorism to foreign influence on American politics.
They've seen what the Russians are capable of. They intervened in our elections in 2016.
Michael Allen served under former President George W. Bush at the National Security Council. He says while Russia is the prominent geopolitical foe, other countries, including China, still pose threats.
And when we consider that military power often flows from tremendous economic power, people worry, is the United States up to being the leader of the world, with a rising China.
The panel echoed these concerns, especially with China's race to technological dominance.
Nothing is going to matter more to the future of CIA and I think the U.S. intelligence community more broadly than our ability to compete technologically.
With much of the focus on the escalating human toll in Ukraine, intelligence leaders say they're documenting Russia's actions to hold the government accountable. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
This comes as one of Minnesota's largest employers is suspending operations in Russia. 3M is headquartered in St. Paul. Company officials say their focus is the safety of employees and their families. While there are many efforts to help Ukraine, a Wisconsin company is stepping up to help in the fight against Russia in a big way. Going beyond first aid supplies, money, and clothes, the manufacturer is donating 1 million rounds of ammunition. Ammo Incorporated recently announced it's willing to donate 1 million rounds of ammo to the Ukraine military. It also has Department of Defense contracts and supplies ammunition to law enforcement and the commercial market. The company employs 300 people in Manitowoc and is growing. They say they're working to navigate the logistical and legal complexities of delivering that ammo to Ukraine quickly. Minneapolis educators continued their strike today with a march downtown to rally at the Hennepin County Government Center. Day 3 of the educators' strike began with picketers on overpasses and bridges around the city. The Minneapolis Federation of Teachers said it has not received a counter proposal from the district since last week. Teachers have been clear about what they want: higher wages, better mental health support, and smaller class sizes. One second-grade teacher says she's prepared to go on strike for as long as it takes, and she has a message for her students.
It does not matter how long, however long it takes, that's how long we'll be here. I love you, I miss you, but this is a learning experience. Pay attention. This is how you get what you need when you need it.
Minneapolis Public Schools Superintendent Ed Graff has said the demands from educators are simply not in the budget. The CDC plans to remove the mandate on airplanes, buses, and other forms of transportation sometime next month as far as masks goes. The requirement was set to expire March 18th. It's now been extended a month to give public health officials time to develop what they're calling new, more targeted policies. The number of new COVID-19 deaths across the country are down about 50% in the last month. Cases are down about 95% from their peak in early January. Skywest Airlines is pulling the service from more than 25 airports, including Jamestown and Devil's Lake, where they fly to Denver. Airport managers blame a pilot shortage. The airline has given a 90-day notice and is now working with other carriers who may want to fill those flights. We now know when this year's Major League Baseball season will begin. Today, MLB players voted to accept the league's offer on a new labor deal, paving the way to end the 99-day lockout and salvage a 162-game season. Opening day is now set for April 7th. That's just 3 days later than originally planned, and it'll be a full 162-game season. Spring training is set to begin 1 week from tomorrow, March 18th. The agreement raises the luxury tax threshold compared to last year and also raises the minimum player salary. Jussie Smallett, the former Empire actor, is being sentenced today. Smallett was convicted on 5 felony counts for staging a racist, homophobic attack on himself, then lying to police about it. A short time ago, the judge denied Smollett's motion to dismiss his conviction. A low-level felony charge in Illinois can carry a sentence of probation, community service, or a fine, and up to a maximum of 3 years in prison. Beyond his sentencing today, there are 2 federal lawsuits still proceeding against him. The death of the D.C. police officer who died by suicide following the January 6th attack on the Capitol has officially been ruled a line-of-duty death. The decision came from Washington's Police and Firefighters Retirement and Relief Board. They determined that an injury Officer Jeffrey Smith sustained on January 6th was the sole and direct cause of his suicide 9 days later. Officer Smith was assaulted at least 2 times on January 6th, once inside the Capitol, another outside the building when he was struck with a flying metal pole. A very lucky lottery player in Moorhead won more than $56,000 yesterday. The winning ticket matched all 5 numbers. Orton's Moorhead Holiday on 30th Avenue South sold that lucky ticket, and this isn't the first time it's happened there. Orton's is the leader in scratch lottery sales in all of Minnesota. In 2021, Orton's Holiday Station had $3.7 million in lottery sales.